Him versus Ciryl Gane, that's very interesting.
For sure. And I know the power is going to translate over to heavyweight. That's not going anywhere. He'll be out of flatline heavyweights.
100%, especially with zero weight cut.
Yeah. He's probably 230, 240 walking around. 230 something maybe.
He's 240.
Yeah, dude, come on.
He's 240 walking around.
That's a legit heavyweight. He's
a
big,
legit
tall,
heavyweight.
long.
Fucking guy fought at 85.
But so is Ciryl, man.
Cyryl's good.
An athlete heavyweight, not just a big guy fighting at heavyweight. He's a legit heavyweight.
To be fair, that's all Alex Pereira's done, right? He had a quick rise through the middleweight division for Alex Pereira, and since then, it was Pereira time. Anytime he fought, he was the main event on the pay-per-view. The whole world went into a frenzy. Channels all over the place, knockouts galore, and a schedule that was insane, right? So he deserves all the accolades. And I know in the past, I might have bet against him because the first time Magomed Ankalaev beat him, I thought the possible anxiety from fighting Pereira and the power, that's gone. He's going to be more aggressive this time and better with the wrestling. But he got smoked. He got smoked in 69 seconds or something like that. So that's why I picked against him. I'm not hating on the guy. What he's done is phenomenal. If he beats or loses to Ciryl Gane, who does he fight next? Well, he still thinks he's got a good chance of facing Jon Jones because Jon Jones, Dana talked about it recently. He said he's done. He's got arthritis and all this, and Jon Jones came out and had a bit of a tweet and delete storm on Twitter, right? You never know. Jon Jones might come back because, as Pereira said, he's under contract. They're not going to release him from contract. And if Jon Jones gets that itch and gets that scratch, listen, I'd still love to see it. And Pereira still wants to fight Jon Jones. And that would be something unbelievable. And if Pereira goes off and becomes a 3-weight division champion, right, Jon Jones might want to come back, and Dana and the UFC and Hunter and everyone might go, you know what, he can be a liability, but dude, we got...
Yeah, this got to be Cyryl's last crack at a title, right? Like, this will be his 5th chance at an interim or undisputed. He won the interim one against Derek Lewis, but the rest is being, no contests or losses. I know the division is thin, and I know it's rough, but, like, I can't imagine a world where he gets a 6th chance if he loses this.
Yeah, and that too, we just spoke about it with the first fight. Again, when the division is rough, it just makes it look like, the title fights aren't as exciting because the rest of the division is rough. So it almost looks like, well, who else is there to fight for this except for these two guys? So there is a little bit of that involved in this fight. But again, I don't want to take anything away from the fight because, like I said, Alex is probably going to go down as the greatest fighter we've ever seen if he can pull this off. Ciryl Gane is an absolute stud, and he's capable of being great. He hasn't really done that and showed us that yet in the big moments. So because he hasn't showed us in the big moments, that's why I'm not putting this higher. He hasn't done that, but he has the potential to do that now. That they fought, like, who has Alex fought that moves like Ciryl Gane? Like, we don't even know how. I mean, maybe we can go back to his kickboxing days and see something, but we haven't seen it in MMA. And then for Ciryl Gane, like, we haven't seen him face a guy quite like this, right? And the only thing that we've seen him face that was similar to this, it's not in style, but it's in aura, Jon Jones, and he completely folded. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on fight, and this is in the White House too, man. So that's another factor for Ciryl Gane that I'm a little concerned with, because if he can't deal with, like, being at the White House and fighting a big fight like this, then man, like,
listen, this dude simply isn't equipped for this type of combat. It's that straightforward. Zero analysts anticipated this particular bout would materialize. Absolutely no one foresaw this scenario unfolding. Nevertheless, we're witnessing Alex Pereira preparing to clash with Ciryl Gane at the White House, which sounds completely wild considering the circumstances. Fight experts remain evenly divided regarding how this encounter unfolds, plus what this interim championship represents for each competitor's career standing. Certain commentators feel completely confident that Pereira's brutal knockout power will deliver him victory in this contest. Meanwhile, other voices strongly argue that Gane's exceptional speed paired with his precise striking technique might become the crucial elements that tip the scales when they enter the cage. This developed into an incredibly high-pressure confrontation, where honestly, a single error, one brief lapse, one poor judgment could determine everything about this fight's conclusion. However, when two elite strikers from across the globe collide on such a grand platform, success depends less on superior technical abilities and more on handling immense pressure, performing flawlessly when spotlight intensity reaches maximum levels.
Question outside your own fight. You've always been very, very staunchly in the belief that interim champion is a champion.
Facts.
So does that mean guaranteed Alex Pereira goes up to heavyweight?
He's a champion. He's a champion.
3-weight head champion.
The fuck interim. Like, you can't tell me a guy gets a belt. Like, interim, look up the word interim, what it means. In the meantime, in the interim, he is the champion. So, as well, like, my belts have how many rubies on them. People try and like discredit it and be like, oh well, one of them was interim. I'm like, well, come take it away. Come take it away from me. But yeah, he's gonna be the champion, and then he's gonna have a super fight with John Jones, and that'll be a big ass fight too. But that's still the White House.
You should be negotiating for John Jones then, because it doesn't sound like they're getting to the right money there.
Really, they'll find a way. The UFC and the brass over there, they always, and the fighters as well, they butt heads with their managers.
What ultimately emerges, while Pereira prepares mentally and physically for his confrontation with Gane against this remarkable White House setting, significantly more complexity exists below the surface than simply an entertaining style clash for audiences. Charles Oliveira suggests a much broader, fundamental transformation occurring throughout combat sports currently. This becomes genuinely troubling upon deeper consideration. He discusses how competitive passion at elite levels gradually surrenders to financial interests and external pressures dominating the sport. Tom Aspinall and John Jones exemplify how rapidly this evolution occurs right before everyone's attention. Thick uncertainty also surrounds this entire occasion, noticeable to observant viewers. Interim title questions and legitimate championship status in contemporary MMA raise deeper concerns about whether victory guarantees undisputed title opportunities later or represents something more distant, more political than competitive.
All the storylines going into this, I mean, Ciryl Gane, I have a real concern for Tom right now. And I am on Tom's side. I want to make sure my words are clear, but I have a real concern because he is scratching the surface of a road that so many guys go down and they never come back. 1 year ago today, Tom wants to compete and he doesn't understand it. John wants a bunch of money. He's looking at the UFC going, you got a contract with the guy, get him in the ring. And that mindset appears to be gone. All of a sudden, it's not about competition. Now it's about money. And now all of a sudden, it's not about, hey guys, thanks for everything you've done for me. It's, hey guys, I'm being told by other people, you haven't done enough for me. When you go down that road, there's no coming back. And I only share that with you. It's very relevant. As we go into Pereira versus Gane, the story of the White House is that we could have our first ever champ, but people are saying no. They're saying the interim belt doesn't count, and that's not a fight that I want to have.
The reality is, despite surface-level technical matchup interest, actual consequences extend far beyond generating media headlines for discussion. Charles Oliveira cautions that combat sports history repeatedly follows predictable patterns. Interim titles receive main event promotion. Champions face constant questioning and intense scrutiny, while today's apparent certainties somehow transform into tomorrow's heated controversies. Should either fighter leave that octagon as undisputed champion, the importance and consequences could prove monumentally significant for the entire division, particularly considering how previous victories and title defenses undergo reinterpretation through shifting perspectives over time. Within a fight card already overflowing with intrigue and captivating narratives, this specific matchup possesses genuine potential to completely eclipse everything else scheduled that evening, literally converting a single outcome into a pivotal moment that restructures the heavyweight division's entire direction for upcoming years.
I'm going to put my sword down. Apparently, I'm the only one that cares. I don't care what comes in front of world champion. If it ends in world champion, I believe it counts. But if our community doesn't find it, I'm just here to tell you history is a way to repeat itself. And when people like to say that Tom is the undisputed champion, they have very short-term memories. Because if I was to say, did he win that? I go, are you sure? I say, did he defend that? Are you sure? Like, people would have to kind of remember and go, well, no, I guess he was an interim and I guess he was elevated. Right thing to do. But if history does repeat itself and Tom does go down this road, if Tom doesn't come back, the significance of Ciryl versus Pereira is going to be huge. The significance of that fight, if one ends up elevated to undisputed champion, which is what just happened to us 5 months ago in the very division. There is so much on this card, but sometimes it comes out.
Expanding on that examination further, Michael Bisping dissects this fight's multiple dimensions thoroughly. Pereira's new promotional contract's inaugural major bout places him directly opposite Gane for the interim heavyweight championship. While surrounding excitement remains absolutely authentic and warranted, Bisping stresses that attention must remain focused on Gane and his contributions. This represents a challenging matchup theoretically, nobody disputes that fact, yet it's completely achievable if Pereira maintains his strategic approach. Fan appeal stems from the pure stylistic collision we're witnessing. Unlike numerous heavyweight contests dominated by grappling exchanges and wrestling control, this promises pure striking warfare from beginning to end, potentially creating more excitement and entertainment than those massive marquee fights receiving recent comparisons. Both competitors genuinely capable of producing explosive knockout sequences standing upright at any instant. Bisping believes this contest could legitimately become an absolute striking exhibition, keeping audiences completely engaged, hearts racing from opening moments through final seconds.
Fight deal. Of course, the first fight on that deal will be against Ciryl Gane for the heavyweight title, the interim heavyweight title. Now, the old cliche in combat sports is I don't want to look past my opponent because, you know, I'm focused on Ciryl Gane, and he should be, because that's a tough fight. But it's a very winnable fight. It's a very compelling, fun matchup. A lot of people came out talking shit to me because I said it might be a better matchup than Jon Jones. The reason I said that, and it's pretty goddamn obvious, is because it will be a striking affair, right? People didn't love the BMF because Charles Oliveira dominated the fight on the ground. And more than likely, I'm not being disrespectful to Pereira, you got to think that's what Jon Jones would do. He would take him down. And if Pereira could defend the submissions, it'll look like the BMF, right? And everyone booed. Everyone talked shit. Even Dana White didn't like it.
Extending his comprehensive analysis of what makes this encounter special, Bisping clarifies precisely why this matchup might become among the most crowd-pleasing and unforgettable battles recently. He acknowledges up front that bold declarations like this easily draw hardcore fan criticism, yet examining it theoretically and analyzing fighting styles, the striking collision between Pereira and Gane proves genuinely difficult to surpass regarding pure entertainment potential. Simultaneously though, Gane's future remains quite unclear regardless of this fight's outcome. Victory or defeat this weekend, he continues pursuing that eventual Jon Jones showdown everyone anticipates, plus decisive triumph here against Pereira could potentially elevate him toward 3-division champion status, an accomplishment that theoretically alone might establish him among UFC's most decorated and successful fighters throughout organizational history. Beyond all championship implications and future booking possibilities, any bout featuring Alex Pereira currently guarantees blockbuster status, generating enormous interest, with fans expecting nothing short of high-stakes, headline-creating action discussed extensively for months following.
Last week, but
so based upon that knowledge, this makes for a better fan-pleasing matchup. But yeah, I'm a dickhead if I say that, right? Jesus Christ, you just can't win. So anyway, Ciryl Gane, who knows, right? Who knows if he wins that fight? We don't know. But he's still convinced that he's gonna fight Jon Jones one day, because regardless of whether or not he beats Ciryl Gane, which is a tough fight, and if he does beat him, he becomes a 3-weight division champion. Does that automatically make him the most successful UFC fighter of all time? Because on paper it does. But when you look at the matchups, does it make him the best? Does that make his career more impressive than Jon Jones, than George St. Pierre, than Anderson Silva, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson? I don't know, but it's certainly a topic of conversation. Let me know your thoughts on that. But if he beats him, and even if he doesn't beat him, right, who is he gonna fight? Because that kind of paycheck, he's gonna be involved in nothing but block.
Furthermore, Din Thomas contributes his expert viewpoint, specifically emphasizing why Pereira remains such essential viewing each Octagon appearance. He identifies the undeniable reality that Alex has literally supported UFC's success throughout nearly 2 complete years, accomplishing incredible achievements and memorable highlights that elevated the entire sport. Now, this weight class advancement represents such a courageous and genuinely admirable challenge few fighters would contemplate attempting, confronting Gane, a legitimate naturally sized heavyweight possessing stylistic weapons and technical capabilities that could authentically trouble Pereira in previously unseen ways, makes this fight more compelling and unpredictable. Still, Thomas observes something subtle preventing this fight from ranking higher on most anticipated matchup lists. Perhaps Tom Aspinall's sideline presence awaiting his chance, with these elite fighters competing for what many consider his deserved position, subtly overshadows the matchup and questions its ultimate divisional significance.
How can you not love watching Alex fight? Like, he's carried the UFC on his back for almost 2 years, and he's done such great things. And the fact that he's moving up is incredibly noble. And he's taken on Ciryl Gane, who is a legit heavyweight that I think stylistically presents problems to him. And I think it's a great fight, but it's just something had to be at number 4. And there's something about it that and it might just be, again, maybe that lingering Tom Aspinall effect over the whole thing. Like Tom watching from the sidelines, watching two guys fight for his position. I don't want to say his belt, but his position. And I think something about that might kind of weigh.
Thomas subsequently explores the broader implications of Pereira's heavyweight advancement more thoroughly. He characterizes this as a genuine historical pursuit, cementing an unquestionable legacy. Does interim belt victory officially establish him as UFC's first 3-division champion? Historically, Thomas responds absolutely affirmatively without hesitation, noting that interim designation doesn't diminish this achievement whatsoever in his opinion. The authentic question isn't belt legitimacy, but whether Gane truly possesses championship caliber attributes across all aspects, not merely pure skill, which Thomas absolutely believes he abundantly demonstrates, but mental and emotional preparation equally. We've witnessed concerning moments like his Francis setback, or that disappointing John Jones performance, raising serious championship mentality doubts. However, the current Gane appears genuinely matured and developed into a legitimate challenger, capable of matching Pereira at absolute elite levels when everything matters most.
Pereira going up to heavyweight is something that's been long discussed, and I guess the big thing is, like, is he going for history? Is he not? It's the interim belt. Like, if he wins this fight, are you going to consider him the first 3-division UFC champion, or does he have to get undefeated?
I would.
Yeah,
I would. I absolutely would.
Even though it's interim.
I mean, like, interim, like, yes, like, the difference is just putting a word in front of it. But it's like Ciryl Gane is still champion. Well, and that's another thing too, right? What we have to find out is Ciryl Gane championship level material. Like, skill wise, I do believe he is, but mentally and, just emotionally and with his entire being, is he championship level material? And that's what we want to find out, because we've seen him lose against Francis, where he went in the fight, but just made the silly mistake at the end. And then we saw him completely lay an egg against John Jones. And that's not championship level material, but he's seemed to have matured into it. Now, when he was fighting Tom Aspinall, he showed championship level material fighting, even though it was a little dirty. And that's another thing. Can he fight cleanly with championship level?
Following that examination, MMA Guru analyzes the circumstances quite directly, avoiding any sugarcoating. Pereira's heavyweight transition isn't merely ambitious or intriguing, it's legitimately been developing extensively if you've monitored his career progression. With precise, devastating low kicks and relentless pressure brought every single contest, MMA Guru believes Pereira can absolutely handle Gane, despite the Frenchman's incredible danger and complete capability of inflicting severe damage with clean connections. At this new weight division, Pereira essentially competes as a natural heavyweight, representing a remarkable transformation considering his middleweight participation recently. Should this fight proceed as scheduled, MMA Guru predicts it could conclude with Pereira delivering another highlight reel knockout replayed for years. Conversely, Israel Adesanya establishes his position crystal clearly with zero uncertainty. Interim champions remain legitimate champions. Absolutely. Discussion concluded. He argues fervently that if Pereira advances to heavyweight and wins this contest, he instantly and undeniably becomes a 3-division UFC title holder, regardless of interim designation meaning. Adesanya completely rejects discrediting the belt or adding asterisks, emphasizing that interim simply means temporary championship holding, while undisputed champions remain unavailable, and nobody diminishes earned accomplishments. Beyond immediate achievement, he adds with genuine enthusiasm, Gane victory establishes potential Jon Jones super fight the entire MMA community desperately wants, promising another absolutely massive clash for history, while this historic White House venue looms as incredible backdrop for potentially career-defining moments. Following Adesanya's passionate perspective, Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman both contribute together, emphasizing how genuinely challenging Gane truly remains as a competitor. They note that finishing him proves absolutely difficult, among division's toughest tasks. His exceptional movement and elite-level skills create this complex puzzle extremely challenging for anyone throughout the division to consistently solve. Honestly, absorbing authentic heavyweight power from someone possessing France's level or Ciryl Gane raw strength presents completely different challenges than anything Pereira previously faced at light heavyweight. Nevertheless, they definitely don't discount Pereira's chances. Absolutely not. With world-class striking power and proven history of elevating performance when stakes peak, he completely possesses the capability of instantly transforming fight dynamics, just as he initially stunned the entire world targeting light heavyweight division conquest. Additionally, Michael Bisping provides crucial perspective regarding Gane's overall career path, and this moment's personal significance. He notes this could genuinely represent his absolute final UFC title opportunity, adding desperation elements to preparation. With 4 previous championship attempts only securing interim gold against Derek Lewis, and falling frustratingly short in remaining opportunities, he simply cannot afford another failure at this career stage. Bisping observes that while heavyweight division definitely presents challenges and complications through politics and injuries, it's honestly difficult imagining realistic scenarios where Gane receives a 6th UFC gold opportunity following potential shortcomings here. So who emerges victorious in this absolutely epic confrontation, potentially reshaping the division? Share your predictions and comments below with detailed reasoning, and remember to hit that subscribe button for latest fight updates, exclusive behind-scenes content, and comprehensive analysis of combat sports' biggest matchups. Stay engaged because this possesses all elements of fights we'll discuss and re-watch for years ahead. The type of fight defining careers and creating legends.